Okay, today is August 18th, 2020. I just wanted to do the video in regards to using frequency to navigate an out-of-body experience. Um, in my last video, I touched on the first astral projection experience that I had had um, when I was actually seen while out of the physical body. Now, there's something that happened during that experience that bothered me. Um, After I had rolled out of bed and I was floating backwards up against the wall on the opposite side of the room, I could still detect the vibrations pounding throughout my head and my astral body. And the reason that bothered me is because at the time I was 100% lucid. I was thinking of what Robert Monroe had mentioned about leaving the physical body and then the vibrations ceasing. But that didn't happen. They continued to pound throughout my physical body. And it's just interesting to note that that was the only time that that had ever happened. And it was also the only time that I was ever witnessed while out of the physical body. Um, so to me, that's really interesting. And it's also interesting to note that apparently, and most people who study this sort of thing, they already know this, we already know this, but the closer we are to the third dimension, the lower the frequency. And especially for me anyways, to hang out as pure consciousness in the third dimension, it's just about as uncomfortable a thing as you can do. Because the frequencies here are so toxic. It's very uncomfortable. So it's no wonder why, when we're trying to manifest in the third dimension, it's no wonder we have to reach out and latch onto a physical body that is self-sustainable here in the third dimension. And it just goes to show just how alien our consciousness is to this place. I mean, when you think about it, our consciousness does not fit into the third dimension. It is totally and completely alien to this place. I mean, look at the physical body. We have hair on the top of our head. We have eyelashes and eyebrows. Our nose faces down. We're built to stand against gravity. And we are, in the physical body, we are creatures of the third dimension. But our consciousness does not fit in here anywhere. I mean, you think you're walking amongst aliens? You are an alien. We are all aliens having a third dimensional experience. So, to continue, in regards to my thoughts on using frequency to navigate an out-of-body experience, I have another experience in regards to this. One time, I got up to practice, I induced the vibrations, and the vibrations were super coarse. And I'm charring a cedar post to go on the ground. I just don't want it to overchar. But anyways, during this experience, when I first induced the vibrations, they were super crunchy and very uncomfortable. And so I focused on raising the frequency. And as soon as you raise the frequency of the vibrations, you can float or fly out of the physical body. You don't even have to think about floating or flying because you will naturally just float right out of the body, so long as you raise the frequency. And to raise the frequency, like I've mentioned before, you just turn inwards, you dig deep and raise that frequency. It's almost like making yourself hyper. So I did that and I floated right out of body. And as soon as I did, I was 100% lucid. I'm like, cool, I'm doing it. So I looked around for something to verify that I was actually out of body. And I looked around the room, and everything was exactly as it should be. I looked across the room. The floor was this black and white checkered tile floor. and there were French doors on the opposite side of the room, a little balcony, and a courtyard just down below. I was on the second story of the building, and so I thought, well, I'm going to go outside and see if I can use something outside to verify that I was here, lucid, 100%, outside of the physical body. And so I floated over to the French doors. I floated through them, and I was on my balcony, and I was looking around, and everything was exactly as it should be. There's some potted plants, the little courtyard down below, and everything was exactly as it should be. It's almost like projecting into the kitchen and then attempting to use the refrigerator as verification that you had astrally projected into the kitchen. The refrigerator is supposed to be there, of course. It's only in place. So why would you use the refrigerator as an indication that you had projected? So I everything was exactly as it should be. And so I thought, well, I'm not going to waste time doing this. I want to go fly. I'm going to at least go fly. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I flew down over the courtyard, and I turned left and went back towards the building that I had just left, and flew upside the building. It was a brick building, and there was a window looking into the apartment that I had just left. And I looked down through the window, and I saw the body that I had just left, and there was somebody crying over the body, and I'm like, well, shit, I better get back to the physical body. They're going to think that I died. And so I thought of the physical body, and I was back immediately in a completely different place. Totally and completely different place. I was back into the here, now. It actually stunned me because I was so familiar with that place that I thought that that's where I should have been. Nothing seemed out of place. And then getting back to the physical, I'm like, okay, I'm back here now. So now remember, in order to get to that place, I raised the frequency of the vibrations. So this kind of leads me to think that if we want to visit the Akashic records or any other dimension beyond the third, all we have to do is raise the frequency. Now, I don't know where these other frequencies go. I think it's infinite. It's got to be infinite. And the higher the frequency, the more difficult it is to recall this place, and the easier it is to be manipulated by thought. So those are just some thoughts that I had in regards to using frequency to navigate the out-of-body experience. Learn to use frequency. Raise the frequency. I think three of the most important things are learning to control your thought, practice thought control in your lucid dreams, and then learn how to raise the frequency to get out of the physical body. Just don't be surprised that when you leave the physical body, you are nowhere near the third dimension. So, anyways, that's just my thought on the frequency thing. It's getting to 9 minutes, so thanks for watching, and feel free to post a comment. I'm really interested to know what people think about this raising the frequency thing. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again next time. Bye.